Hi, this is Dave Morgan from Simul Media here at Cannes, and I am here with Wenda Millard, the president and co-chief, as we would call her, of MediaLink. Wenda, welcome. You've had an amazing career. Family Circle magazine publisher, CEO of SRDS, the first head of sales at DoubleClick. The chief sales officer at Yahoo, took it from a couple $100 million to how many billion?
6.3.
And the CEO, the co-CEO of Martha Stewart. What's it? Tell us about MediaLink. I mean, this isn't just this quiet, powerful strategy company. Now you have real branding going on here.
We do at Cannes. It's going to be kind of hard to miss us here at Cannes this year. But MediaLink, one of the ways to think about it is it's kind of where Madison Avenue meets Silicon Valley, meets Hollywood, meets Wall Street. So we sit at the nexus of all of these phenomena that are finally converging, and we help companies sort through it all. And we do that with strategic advisory, business acceleration. We do a lot of M&A advisory. We work with a lot of private equity firms, helping them make decisions about investment and acquisition. So we're just kind of right there in the middle, and that's exactly where Cannes is now.
Yeah. So most professional services companies that help manage relationships tend to work in sort of, two-sided markets. They tend to have a pretty straightforward linear relationship. But you're talking about, I guess since it's sort of, we'll have technology, a multivariate, a multivariate sets of relationships. That's not usual. What does that require you all do that's probably a little different than people that have built professional advisory services firms before like this?
Yeah, that's really, it's a wonderful question because this model is very different. And in many ways, it is built on trust and transparency. And so we can sit on many different sides of an equation, of a deal, of various opportunities in business, but we are operators, so everything we do is based on pragmatism. It's through an operational lens. It's through the lens of people who are in market every day. And so our business is based on that trust that we have with many, many different partners and different constituencies, different segments of the business. So it is the least linear professional services firm you'd ever meet, for sure.
Yeah, so it's interesting. There's a lot of firms that might pride themselves on being quiet and behind the scenes and not seen. You all, though certainly I'm sure a lot of counsel is quiet and behind the scenes and not seen, are actually pretty public about your position with the companies. And I find that interesting, and certainly there's this massive billboard that we see along Le Croisette at the Carlton. And tonight I'll be at your dinner with Clear Channel, and companies seem not only comfortable with you all branding, but actually very sort of desiring that you brand and position yourselves. And tell us a little bit about that dynamic.
Right. So what that is, Dave, is business acceleration is one of our offerings. So for a lot of our companies who need exposure to, say, major brands, or who need exposure to the agency world, the financial world, there's kind of a little bit of a good housekeeping seal of approval if you say, oh, well, I'm a MediaLink client. So MediaLink's visibility is good visibility for our clients. So they actually endorse our being very visible in the market. It's helpful to them. And, we're a small company. We're about 70 full-time employees. But having a large brand footprint in the industry is very helpful to what we do. It's helpful to our clients.
So when I walked through your resume, you've worked with a lot of really substantial businesses. Now you and Michael Casson are running one of your own that's maybe smaller in employees, but certainly no less powerful and impact in the market. How's that different than some of the places you've been before, like Time Inc. or Yahoo?
I think we have a lot of flexibility. I mean, you always do. You know it well. When you own your own firm, you are able to make decisions very, very quickly. You're able to move with the market. much more quickly than if you are a large company, which are just almost by definition cumbersome, unable to move nimbly. So I think small and powerful is a pretty good thing.
So I watched you yesterday interview Joe Rip, the CEO of Time Inc., the recently public Time Inc., and you know, I have to say, and we talked about this earlier, I've seen Joe give a number of interviews, and I thought that you really brought out him in a way I hadn't seen before. Tell us a little bit about that part. It seems that you have a comfort moving between the Silicon Valley and the advertising and the publishing world and the finance world in ways that others don't. And clearly I could see that Joe had a degree of comfort. He could communicate to that whole room in ways that you know, I hadn't seen before. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that actually, when I was saying before that it's about trust and sort of being an operator, being a part of this business, and understanding that, you know, if I were the newly crowned CEO of the newly public Time Inc., I mean, that you want to be very thoughtful about what you do say in public. And so if you're going to interview somebody like that, they want to know you. You need to know them and appreciate their position. And I think, you know, coming from an operator's standpoint, you have great appreciation for the challenges as well as the opportunities that someone in a position like that faces, and to make them comfortable and to give whatever audience, whatever set of constituents someone is speaking in front of, to give that audience a real feeling for that individual. That is something that it's very important, that comfort level, but that comes from being an operator, and the trust that the advisory work that we do stems from. So that's sort of the comfort level, the trust, the relationships. We're safe, if you will. You know, we're not looking for the getcha. We're trying to help our companies be well understood by those who can help control their futures.
So Wenda, you're certainly really well known for your mentorship in the industry. I mean, to me personally and to so many others. But you also have a particular reputation in helping the women of the industry, having come through a time, and arguably there's always been challenges in the publishing and media industry. Tell us a little bit. I mean, I sort of think of it as, yeah, I know, you know, Sheryl Sandberg gets a lot of attention for her book Lean In. Lean In are not really words I would associate with Wenda Millard. Wenda Millard is like burst through the door and make it happen. So tell us about that. I mean, you put together a lot of fun events. I mean, you tell us some of the kinds of things that you're doing that are bringing together some of the women leaders and the future women leaders in our industry.
Yeah, I was very, very blessed in my career to have some fantastic mentors, both women and men, by the way. But I never suffered the mean girl scenarios that some talk about. But that doesn't mean I don't have a great appreciation for some of the challenges that women of any age and in any industry face in what used to be a very male-dominated world. I would say that the more senior you get in business, the more male it becomes. Everyone sort of is familiar with those statistics. And I've always thought that it's good to pay it forward. It's good to give back, and that women, that's an area that women need help in, building confidence, assuming quote-unquote power. And mentorship, I think, is very healthy. It's a great way to feel good, you know, after all of these years of being in the business, about giving back a little bit, and looking forward and helping people understand that you can do this. You can be very successful. It will have its challenges. So I do lots of things, not necessarily a lot of one-on-one mentoring. I certainly do that in the companies I work for. But mine is more having girls' night out here in Cannes for the 12th year, every Monday night. Or at my home, I have many events at my home that celebrate and bring together women, introducing them to each other. I mean, that's so much fun, connecting people who should know each other, but who don't otherwise have the opportunity. So I do as much as I can there, and I just think it's not really based on my own personal experience of the negative sort. Mine comes from a much more positive experience, and that may be a little bit different. Sheryl was the victim of a lot of mean girls when she was growing up in the business. I wasn't. I was more blessed. So mine comes from a place of understanding that not everybody felt as welcomed in business as I have over the years.
Okay, one final question. Anything that special takeaways so far at Cannes? I mean, we're only Tuesday, so we have a little bit more time to go. It's been a long time already, but any particular takeaways that are really striking, something you didn't expect or expected and it came in a little different way?
Yeah, what I'm hoping this year is that because this conference has changed so significantly in terms of the attendee composition, I'm hoping that more and more of the newer people who come to the conference understand that this is a time to be inspired, that this is a creative conference, and there are very few times that we can lean back a little bit, look at some fantastic work, and be inspired regardless of our own job titles or companies. So I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the work and to be inspired by some of the great creatives that we're blessed with in this industry.